Watch Not the News, weeknights after Fox News at 10. Your friends, your favorites, your Fox. FXB, Fox TV. From WFXB, the News 13 Network presents Fox News at 10.
Good Tuesday evening to you. I'm Meghan Miller. Thanks so much for joining us. We start off with some national news making headlines tonight. First, you could finally receive your stimulus check as early as tonight, according to Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. That's at least for those of you getting the check through direct deposit. Those $600 paper checks will go out tomorrow. We'll have much more on how we got here a little bit later on Fox News at 10. Talking about those stimulus payments, out of our South Carolina lawmakers, Representative Tom Rice voted against the proposed $2,000 stimulus checks. South Carolina's two House Democrats, though, voted for it. And new tonight, the Colorado governor's office is reporting the COVID-19 variant previously reported in the UK. It is the first reported case here in the United States. This version of the virus is believed to be much more contagious. Meanwhile, back here in South Carolina, less than half of the state's COVID vaccine doses have been given out in the first 2 weeks of the rollout. And as Fox News at 10's Elisia Alonso reports, one local hospital wants to move to the next phase of the state's vaccination plan.
Vaccines don't save people. Vaccinations save people.
Let me put a Band-Aid on there.
It's been 2 weeks since South Carolina gave its first COVID vaccine. On Tuesday, 43% of the state's available doses were given.
From a public health perspective, it is concerning.
Frontline workers are prioritized in Phase 1A of the rollout. Conway Medical Center strongly encourages its staff to get vaccinated, but some are choosing not to.
I think we have some staff who were concerned that if they got their vaccine before Christmas, that they might feel ill. I think the timing of when we started receiving vaccine is having an impact on how quickly people are rushing to get vaccinated.
Right now, the hospital has more doses than employees. With DHEC approval, it's offering doses to frontline workers outside of hospital walls, giving vaccines to local physicians, dentists, and their staff.
We felt like it was important to keep pushing forward, and as long as we have vaccine available, we want to get it in people's arms.
Officials have formally requested to move to Phase 1B of the state's plan, expanding their reach to get more people vaccinated.
Obviously, we don't have enough vaccine at this point to vaccinate everyone who will be in Phase 1B, but we have to start somewhere.
Reporting for Fox News at 10, I'm Elisia Alonso.
And today, DHEC reported more than 2,200 new COVID-19 cases in South Carolina. On your screen are the latest daily local numbers as of Sunday night. Numbers are still trickling in as DHEC catches up from the Christmas holiday. There were no new deaths reported here in our area, but out of more than 8,000 test results reported, 27.1% of those were positive. North Carolina health officials, meanwhile, today reported more than 3,500 new virus cases in the Tar Heel state. Here in our area, that includes 72 new cases in Robeson County and 3 in Scotland County. Those new numbers also come as the White House designates some parts of North Carolina as a sustained hotspot for COVID-19. North Carolina's case positivity is at its highest since April. On the left is the state in mid-December, largely a sustained hotspot. 1 week later, look at that. 5 more counties were upgraded while spread increased. Cities like Cary, Wake Forest, and Chapel Hill told our Raleigh sister station that in response to that spike in cases, they would focus on education before enforcement.
The Raleigh Police Department has been really busy, and we have not wanted to use them. When you bring in the police, that sends a different message.
We'll look at them, and if we determine that there are violations that need to be acted upon, we will.
Also, hospitalizations broke another record in North Carolina with well over 3,300 people getting treated in hospitals right now. Back in South Carolina, Governor Henry McMaster has a message for South Carolinians as we get a little bit closer to New Year's Eve celebrations. We told you he tested positive for COVID-19 and is isolating until Thursday. He said in part, quote, South Carolinians know what to do to limit the virus's spread, but there are indications that folks may be letting their guard down as it relates to large gatherings. The governor went on to say events must be limited to 250 people or 50% of occupancy unless the event was approved in advance by the State Department of Commerce. And speaking of, on your screen now are the events approved in Horry County as of today for up to 1,000 people.
And as we get into that weather story for tonight, looking into tomorrow, we are going to be getting clearing skies, temps tumbling their way back. A lot of areas there just over that border belt going to be seeing the upper 20s. Looking at you, Laurinburg and Lumberton. Whiteville right around freezing. Taking a look a little bit closer towards the Grand Strand, more of those mid and upper 30s as we take a check forward. A couple suggestions into tomorrow. Of course, make sure you're dressing warm, bundling up the longer pants, perhaps a hot beverage as well. Always nice for a colder morning. If you don't need coffee, hot cider perhaps will get you through the day.
Thanks so much, Tony. Today, the Myrtle Beach Police Department had a memorial service for fallen officer Joe McGarry. He died in the line of duty 18 years ago. Officer McGarry was shot and killed when he and his partner tried to talk with a murder suspect at a Dunkin' Donuts on North Kings Highway on December 29, 2002. McGarry at the time spent 4 years on Myrtle Beach Police's Street Crimes Unit. At today's memorial service, Chief Amy Prock said they continue to remember him just like it was yesterday.
He had so much to offer, and those that were close to him would tell you the same. And he was invested in our community. He was invested with the people that he truly loved, and was always there for them, and they felt the same.
A remembrance plaque is now outside the Ted C. Collins Law Enforcement Center to remember Officer McGarry. Today also marks 19 years since the death of Horry County Sheriff's Lieutenant Randy Gerald. The Sheriff's Office posted these pictures on its Facebook today. Gerald was shot and killed on December 29, 2001, when he tried to intervene in an argument on Highway 701. The person who killed him is now serving a life sentence. The Myrtle Beach Police Department is working to recruit and retain more officers, all as part of the city's 7-year plan. As we near that halfway mark, our team is checking to see if it's working. The plan passed back in 2017 after city leaders say the number of tourists were outpacing the number of officers. Since then, the department added 40 positions. To help keep those officers, starting salaries have increased to $40,000 for uncertified officers and $44,000 for certified officers. Young officers typically leave this job in line of duty in the first few years, but the department is working to keep them around by offering more training and mental health resources.
It's not an easy job by any stretch of the imagination. It's a calling, and it's something you have to really be committed to want to do.
The growth initiative costs $800,000 to $1 million a year, which the city says it pays for using federal grants. In a Fox follow-up, Myrtle Beach police arrested this man in connection with a shooting at an Ocean Boulevard motel. Danta Clarity faces attempted murder and drug charges. Police say the shooting happened overnight Monday at the Coral Sands Motel. One person was hurt, but we're told they should be okay. The Horry County PD bomb squad and U.S. Air Force disposed of this unexploded artillery shell today. Police say a man found it right along the Waccamaw River and brought it home to use as a decoration, but had second thoughts and later called police. This is video from last night when the bomb squad came to take it from a workshop on Shetland Lane near Myrtle Beach International. No one, though, was hurt. Horry County Schools is investigating a recent racially offensive social media post by a student. At least that's according to this tweet from Socastee High School. The post says, in part, the school is, quote, disappointed, shocked, and deeply saddened by the images and language used in the post, and it does not represent the values of our school. The post said the district will take appropriate disciplinary actions. Still to come tonight on your news at 10 o'clock, some more about the showdown in the Senate that led to some Americans finally getting some stimulus checks. Tony.
And we're looking calmer for that weather story tomorrow, but switching things up. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, warmth, storms coming at you. I'll let you know the details next.
Go to facebook.com/WFXB-Fox TV and like us now.
This is Captain Williams from Al-Assad, Iraq. I would like to wish my family and friends from South Carolina a happy holidays, and I love you and miss you.
The Foxcast is brought to you by Myrtle Beach Kia. Call 444-8000 or shop online at myrtlebeachkia.net.
Welcome back. Now 10-12. You're taking a live look over downtown Florence tonight. It is cool and clear out there right now, but that's going to change as the week goes on. Tony's in for Frank again tonight, and he's tracking some rain in your New Year's forecast, but it's coming with some warm temperatures, right?
It certainly is, Megan. A big surge with those warmer temperatures up from the ocean, and this is going to be something. Speaking of, let's take a look at that Myrtle Beach boardwalk as well. Everyone looking to be clear during this overnight period. Not too much going on. It's going to be an easy night. Dress warm, of course. If you do have to head out late for any reason, perhaps working a night shift, we're going to be seeing those temps fall their way back down, and this is something that comes along with more 30s and even some upper 20s as we hit the early morning hours. So common cold, simple. Clouds are going to be on the increase tomorrow, and this is coming along as well with a slight increase in temps for some. Others, it's just going to be right about the same as we got today. But the main thing I want to watch out for is that third bullet point, and that's going to be the unsettled weather as we go towards that New Year's Eve, seeing more of some storm potential actually into New Year's Day. Temperatures, okay, looking at Sumter, so moving further inland, got 47, Hartsville, Sherrod, back into the viewing area, a lot of those mid and lower 40s, Laurinburg, Lumberton, and Florence, of course, with those mid 40s and getting towards the Grand Strand. Going to be seeing a similar setup for Conway and Myrtle Beach, at least North Myrtle, right at Myrtle's 50. So a good mix of temperatures already on the decline back, and we are going to be seeing a little bit more of just some light cloud cover. Anything up above is going to be a very thin veil of cloud. So while it might actually be popping up, it's not really going to be something that's going to be impeding that sky cover. And then as we go on and roll with this and basically get a little bit closer towards that New Year's Eve, you have to take a look at this. It's going to be clouds really moving their way in. You got showers, some downpours possible as we get through Thursday. And with that setup, this is going to be something that we have to watch out for going into New Year's Day, because this actually flares up a severe storm chance. So it's going to be about the eyes on the sky as we settle on in there. So please be mindful of that as we are going to be getting past our high pressure, finally breaking off of this dry stretch. And of course, as we get a better timing on that, that's going to be towards the end of the week when the weather team will confer over and bring our best timing window of that severe weather chance to you. Now for tonight, it is going to be a bit on the chilly side. It's mainly clear, colder temps. Bundle up, whether it be tonight or getting into tomorrow morning. And of course, a little bit warmer along the Grand Strand, seeing the upper 30s, lower 30s for areas further into the PD. And then as we, of course, are continuing into Christmas break, I want to focus on the inland temperatures a little bit more, because it's just going to be a bit colder tomorrow as opposed to along the beaches where we should get closer to 60, but barely going to be getting even at sometimes into the afternoon above 50. A few pops of sunshine should be pushing us right to those mid 50s at isolated intervals tomorrow. And this is going to be, of course, leading to that eventual setup of warmth and storms going towards New Year's Eve. And I got that all for you in that 7-day forecast. Stick around.
Tony, thanks so much. As we told you at the top of the newscast, $600 stimulus checks are on their way, but the Senate still has some work to do regarding those $2,000 checks. Fox's Mike Emanuel reports.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell grouped three of President Trump's priorities, those $2,000 stimulus checks, but also repeal of Section 230 protections for big tech, and an advisory committee that will study the 2020 election and make recommendations to Congress on improving security, integrity, and administration of federal elections. Democrats are calling those poison pills and want to vote just on $2,000 checks. McConnell was vague today about timing.
Those are the three important subjects the president has linked together. This week, the Senate will begin a process to bring these three priorities into focus,
with no intervening action or debate.
The Senate Democratic leader tried to force a vote today on the $2,000 stimulus checks, but McConnell objected.
We should not adjourn until the Senate holds a vote on both measures, the NDAA veto override and the House bill to provide $2,000 checks for the American people.
Then Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders tried to force the stimulus vote today, and he was blocked too.
Is there objection to the request for modification?
Object.
Sanders had threatened to keep senators in session through the New Year's holiday to address stimulus.
Working families need help now. Not next year, but right now.
Senate GOP leadership is hoping to vote as soon as tomorrow to override President Trump's veto of the $740 billion National Defense Authorization Act. But that could be delayed by frustrated Democrats.
My Republican colleagues seem more interested in funding defense than in funding the defenseless. And that's what this debate is all about.
And that was Mike Emanuel reporting. Stay tuned, of course, for the stimulus updates right here on Fox News at 10. Coming up next on Fox, though, South Carolina will take the court after having a month off. We'll have the details straight ahead in Candace's Sports.
FXB Fox TV airs a minimum of 3 hours of educational and informational programming every week. Viewers can learn more about that programming in our online public files, which are available at www.fcc.gov. Sports is brought to you by Myrtle Beach Chrysler Jeep. Call 843-448-1191 or shop us online at myrtlebeachchryslerjeep.net.
Love and hate, two words used in college football. They're words tossed around a stadium more than the actual ball itself. Fans say it, coaches hear it, players feel it, but no other team embraces it like the Clemson Tigers. For the 6th straight year, Clemson not only won the ACC, but earned a trip to the CFP. They became the first program to win 20 ACC titles and to have 10 10-win consecutive seasons. At this point, they know every team is coming for them.
Several years back, we also adopted the mantra, embrace the target. You know, we were no longer going to be little old Clemson that could sneak up on people, that whenever we stepped on the field, we were going to get everybody's best. And so for us, it's just about embracing the target, staying true to our fundamentals on the field, but also our fundamentals and core values off the field. And then understand that with success comes scrutiny, but always resetting every single year back to what the foundation of the program is.
After nearly a month off, the Gamecocks are back in action. On Saturday, South Carolina will play Florida A&M for the first time since their COVID outbreak a month ago. USC has either canceled or postponed 5 of their last games. Head coach Frank Martin says conditioning is a major concern. Since returning, the Gamecocks have yet to practice full court.
These kids are on quarantine. They're in isolation. They're not allowed to go to the gym and shoot balls and run sprints. They're not allowed to do any of that stuff. So you're asking someone that lives a banker's life, just sitting in a chair reading the computer, to all of a sudden engage in a high-level athletic competition with minimal days. And that for me is a concern.
And that'll do it for Sports at 10. Megan, back on over to you.
Candace, thanks so much. With the new year just around the corner already, you may be considering some resolutions. One of the most popular, of course, every single year is to get fit, but in the middle of a pandemic, gyms have to take more steps to prepare you for that. Fox News at 10's Matt Fortin spoke to the Florence YMCA and a local yoga studio about their expectations for the new year.
If you're headed to the gym in the new year, you may find that more people have the same idea.
Saw our membership usage pick up a little bit in the fall, and we're hoping that continues into the new year.
CEO of the Florence Family YMCA, Brian New, says that on typical years, usage picks up by about 50%. He says whatever this year brings, they're armed with COVID protocols to keep gym goers healthy.
Spreading machines out where we can, limiting number of people in the aerobics rooms and the spin classes, making sure that all the equipment is being wiped down.
Maybe hitting the weights isn't your thing. If yoga is, you're going to have to wait to take group indoor classes at Flowtown. Those are temporarily called off as COVID cases surge.
I'm going to miss the most successful month of the year when it comes to revenue for a fitness or wellness facility, but I feel that it is the right decision.
Alternatives in the meantime will be outdoor if it's warm enough and online.
You got to do it at your comfort level.
Kevin Mitchell of McLeod Health and Fitness Center says whatever it is, it's important to get active.
The New Year's resolutions are February, maybe they're March, but I still think we're going to have an influx, but I think we'll it'll be a little bit of a delay before we have that real big push to get back at it.
Matt Fortin, Fox News at 10.
Coming up next in the biz, if you sent packages that didn't make it on time this holiday season, will USPS make it right? Well, we'll find out right after this.
When you've got questions, we've got answers. Keep us in your pocket with the WFXB Fox TV app. Don't get caught off guard by weather, traffic, or news. Trust the WFXB app to keep you in the know. Download the WFXB app for free today.
News at 10 brought to you by Carolina Cool. Call 843-238-5805 or visit carolinacool.com.
Welcome back to the biz. After nearly 2 years since its grounding over safety concerns, the Boeing 737 MAX started flying again. Today, American Airlines used the jet for commercial service between Miami and New York City. This comes just 1 month after the FAA cleared the plane for passenger flights once again. Boeing made wiring fixes and updated the flight control system that was partially to blame for 2 crashes in 2018 and 2019.
Calling the United States Postal Service Customer Care Center.
Well, what if you paid some extra to send holiday packages through express mail, but they didn't show up on time? Can you even get your money back? As Ed Gallek reports, don't expect any answers on the phone.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Customer support.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Human being.
We've had to spend a lot of extra financial resources on reshipping products.
Meet the folks at a local family company called Lyman Life. They say they've lost big bucks to post office delays, sending orders a second time through other shipping services when the Postal Service didn't deliver.
So what I've offered to do for a lot of customers is duplicate their order free of charge and then ship it to them.
Deliver the mail. Or maybe you're like Norma, hit with late fees after sending checks to pay bills, and the checks didn't get there on time.
I mailed out 6 checks in December 4th. None of my creditors have received them. I've gotten a late charge and had to make a double payment.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
We also tried talking to the local postmaster here at headquarters. The answer, no. And by email, a spokesperson didn't address specific questions about your money, instead referring us back to what the Postal Service calls customer support.
I think you said stamps. Is that correct?
No.
Say yes.
Is there any kind of way I could get reimbursed? Meantime, a Fox 8 producer went into a Cleveland post office. A clerk gave us another phone number no one picked up.
All right, with those shipping woes, let's take a check on perhaps some positivity with that weather going into Wednesday. And it is going to be in the drier sense. Highs, upper 50s for you. Take a look, though, getting into that New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. If you're a fan of that warmth, you are going to be happy with this forecast. We'll see a nice bump up with those highs, but also have to look out for a storm chance getting into that Friday, and we'll see that for the PD as well. Slightly warmer temperatures, but get ready for the overnight period. You need to make sure you are bundling yourselves up, sending those lows for you into tomorrow morning into those lower 30s.
Later, a man plays with a flamethrower.
And we take a look back at some weird food combos from this year later on Not the News.
The Hardee's Touchdown Takeout is back. Just go to WFXB.com to enter. Each week, we'll be giving away a Hardee's $25 gift card and the grand prize chance to win free Hardee's favorites for a year. Feed your happy at Hardee's and check out the Hardee's Touchdown Takeout at WFXB.com.
There's always time for B on Me.
Me?
You'll find Aunt B on Me TV.
Oh!
Over the air on channel 43.4.
Welcome back to The Buzz. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are reflecting on 2020 in the latest episode of their podcast.
Well, they spoke to some celebrities about this past year, but it was their 18-month-old son, Archie, who stole the show. Take a listen.
You can speak in turn.
Archie, is it fun? Fun. Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy? New?
New?
New. Yeah.
Boom.
So adorable. And if you didn't know, the Duke and Duchess have a podcast on Spotify called Archwell. They kicked off the episode by thanking healthcare workers for their work during the pandemic. Then they played some audio diaries from a bunch of celebrities and artists, including Elton John, Tyler Perry, James Corden, and more, all about their experience in quarantine. More episodes of the Archwell podcast are set to come out in the new year.
And tonight is a bit of a bittersweet night. It is my final night as anchor for Fox News at 10. I've got to say I'm extremely grateful for the 6 years I've spent at the desk there, bringing you the latest headlines and stories that matter in your community. But most of all, I am so deeply proud of this hardworking team behind this show and also the newscasts we put on air each night. And to my favorite Shauna Clears, Nicole and Carlos up there tonight, along with Nate and Kaylee, Frank, Chris, Candace, thank you guys all for being such great teammates. And of course, to our dedicated viewers out there, thank you so much for trusting us each night and following our journey as we continue to evolve this show. It is not goodbye tonight. It's just to see you soon as I make my transition to main evening anchor on News 13 at 5, 5:30, and 6 o'clock each night. So I certainly hope you will join me there. And that'll do it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching.
And from all of us here at Fox News at 10, you have a good night.